Studio. We welcome to the program now Lance Tolbert, host of the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Company High School Football Scoreboard Show and producer of the Gallo Show.
I feel the same way going to break sometimes. You keep adding a little word in there, but I'm getting better at it.
I got it. All right, so we had a couple of championships already played, right?
Well, a couple weeks ago, we had the MAIS championships began on November the 18th and went for a few days. Real quickly, I'll run through the private independent school winners in there. Sharkey-Essequina won a state championship there. DeSoto, Arkansas was the 2A state champion. Class 3A, Greenville St. Joe beat Kirk Academy 6-0. That was a tight one. The 4A state champ was Tri-County Academy, a team that played well all year long and was kind of one of our favorites, as well as Adams County Christian. They won the 5A. They won that over Simpson Academy, who had really kind of come on strong late in the season. It started a little slow, but Adams County ended up winning that in 47-29. That was 5A. And then the 6A, Hartfield Blank Prep, 21-0. So that was Hartfield's first state championship. They've come close a little bit, but they're a player now. They won the first 6A state championship. As you said, though, we had two crowns anointed last night. Biggersville, a team that had only had one loss, the Fighting Brendan Presleys from Nettleton, beat them earlier in the season, but Biggersville was able to continue winning. They got the bye in the first round, and Biggersville ended up winning an absolute barn burner last night, 53-49 over Velma Jackson. Biggersville was 11-1. Velma Jackson was undefeated. It was a team I was really probably thought was going to win that game, but it was some kind of game. Velma Jackson fumbled a punt late in the game as Biggersville had narrowed the score. It looked like Velma was going to run off with it. Biggersville comes in late, scores with about 6 minutes to go. Velma gets the ball back and muffs a punt. And then, obviously, Biggersville takes it 6 plays as the clock runs out and scores a touchdown there to Trey Gunn. The Biggersville, their number one player, Jaron Hatch, he got hurt early in the game, and that didn't really seem to slow down Biggersville very much. It took them a second to get rolling. But, again, Louisville commitment, Hatch, 6'2", 190. But the quarterback, Rousey, threw 6 touchdowns and 373 yards. He was 21 of 53 passing. So what an excellent game there for Biggersville. And you hate to see a team like Velma lose like that, but somebody's got to win them. Somebody's got to lose them.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was one of those games. Now, the second game of the night was between West Point and Laurel. Laurel had kind of stumbled early. West Point stumbled early in the season. Both teams ended up finishing dominantly. West Point being the most dominant. They ended up winning their 12th state championship. They'd been to the finals the last 3 years and had lost. Coach Chris Chambliss had some words about that. He said, "Thank goodness that monkey's kind of off my back now. We take great pride in running the ball and blocking. These kids are taught to win championships. Been to the state championship 8 times in a row. That's amazing if you think about that. That's dynastic." They ended up winning it last night on 447 yards rushing. No offense in the passing world, but Kanan Daniels, the great running back for West Point, and also Quintarian Tillman Evans just paved the way. And they were the ones that had the 447 yards of offense there. Kobe Pierce's TD for Laurel was on the first possession. It was a pass. They missed a field goal on their second possession, and then West Point just laid it on them. And that's just kind of how West Point plays. They've been very dominant. So congratulations to West Point winning their 12th overall state championship. That is the most of any team in the state of Mississippi. A game that had a ton of great players. USM D-line commitment Zay Lowry was in there, 6'3", 280. Just a bunch of good names in there, good players, good kids. And Tillman Evans ended up with 129 yards on 16 carries with 2 TDs, and Kanan Daniels had 253 on 28 carries and 3 TDs. So that's what we are up to this point. Now, I want to mention this before we go any further. There was a futures game for MIS last night, an All-Stars type game. And then you'll have the 1, 2, and 3A All-Stars at 2 today at Prep. And then you'll also have the 4, 5, and 6A All-Star game for the MAIS will be at 5 o'clock at Prep today. I'm taking the White team on the 4, 5, and 6A because John White and Reed Jaslowski are playing on the same team, and I think they'll end up showing out today. 4 p.m. today kicks off 2A. And then 6A is at 2A is at 4 p.m. and 6A is at 7:30 tonight. 2A Charleston 12-2 versus Heidelberg 11-3. 6A Grenada 11-3, led by USM commit Aaron Travis 6'6", 250 versus West Jones. They're 13-0. Give up about 6.5 points a game. West Jones is amazing. They won a 2-0 game this year.
2-0.
2-0. And yeah, they're a team that I'm going to pick West Jones here.
How many innings did that go?
Exactly. It was a 28-inning game. But, West Jones has some great kids. We had a couple of the players on with us last week, Isaiah Lunchmeat, Lindsay, and crew. They're just a great group of guys. Coach, amazing people, just wonderful. But that West Jones team that beat Terry midseason 2-0, that's something else. And I'm going to stick with West Jones on that. Grenada's had a great team, don't get me wrong. But you can't go against a guy named Lunchmeat, Lindsay. So, and then we're going to fast forward just a little here. We've got Saturday. The 4A is at noon, 3A is at 3:30, and 7A championship is going to be at, I think it's at 7. The 4A Louisville is 14-0 against 14-0 Columbia. That's great. Again, a Marion Fortenberry, a South Alabama commit. Louisville's loaded with players as well as just a plethora of pinatas, El Wapo, in terms of quality talent on these teams. Winona 3A 14-0 versus Noxubee County 10-4. That's going to be the mid-game on Saturday. And then the 7A, Starkville returning back to the championship game to take on 12-1 Oak Grove. Starkville's 10-3. Trey Petty, Illinois commit, the quarterback for Starkville, excellent player, number 2 in the state. As far as quarterbacks, they got wide receiver Stonka Burnside, who everybody's trying to sign. And they'll battle Anthony Maddox Jr. He was committed to A&M as a quarterback. He's the state's top-ranked quarterback, number 8th-ranked player in the state. But not sure if he's going to stick with his A&M commit until they figure out what's going on down there and get everybody hired. But so far, I think he is still committed there. Alabama and Penn State also recruiting him very hard. And then P.J. Woodland, cornerback LSU commit, and Caleb Moore, the defensive tackle committed to USM, as well as athlete Chase Pinkston. So that's just some names there to run off as far as the guys that I know you like knowing who's doing well, and we got a ton of them doing well out there, Gerard. I mean, I'm going to read just some of the names here. Jamonta Waller, he's an Auburn commit. Cameron Franklin, Ole Miss. William Eccles, Ole Miss. Daniel Hill, Alabama and South Carolina are getting after him. He's the kid from Meridian, 6'1", 231 running back, just a beast. Jeffrey Rush, Ole Miss commit. Cameron Beavers, Norrill White, both Ole Miss. J.J. Harrell, Mississippi State. Braylon Burnside, also known as Stonka. State Ole Miss battle. You can go down this list. Julius Pope, running back for South Panola. He was injured most of the season, but a really good football player. He's an Arkansas commit. Tyler Carter, Mississippi State. Kanan Daniels, Florida. We can go up and down this list till you get 75 players into this. And we just have player after player after player that are going to good schools. This is a huge class for Mississippi high school football. And Southern Miss has had if they can hold this class together, they have a ton of great Mississippi high school kids that are committed. And I know they're having a little weekend maybe this week to get everybody together. And I know Will Hall's excited about that class, and he should be. It is a heck of a class, and I think the class that Will Hall is signing this year could be the one that kind of turns the corner for him if you really dig in and look at the type guys that he's recruiting. John White, he is won the player of the year for high school and academy, and Reed Jaslowski won the offensive player of the year from Hartfield. So those are just 2 right there amongst many others that are committed to Southern Miss.
I wonder how, like you said, whether or not these classes stay together with the topsy-turvy world of college football recruiting, the NIL, the portal, etc.
Yeah, well, and Ole Miss is going to have its work cut out for them as well as many other teams. Everybody wants your best players, and it's okay now to get out there and throw a little money at it. And Southern is one of those that I think, they're working with less, but that doesn't mean they can't accomplish something here in the NIL. But you're dealing with a totally different animal than a Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Ole Miss is working with quite a bit of money, and I know State is really ramping up their NIL. So what you really want to do right now is keep the team you got together.
Yeah.
And
So
add to it.
You got to recruit your existing players, and you got to recruit new players.
Well, Nick Saban said it might take $5 to $6 million to keep your team together. Then you got to, think about that.
Crazy.
Thanks for your time today.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Merry Christmas.
You too. We're coming right back, folks, in the Element Wealth Studio.